Sports fans. We welcome y'all back to another week on the hottest live radio. We're your guys from the Culdesac show. I'm one of your hosts, Jay Irvin. We have G Nice and Big Mike. What's going on, fellas? How y'all feeling today?
Really good. How are you feeling today?
Oh, good. We got through a good week. You know, we got past the election. Now we get all that media out the way and go back to sports, football, basketball. No more baseball. But
I had to get my Florida Evans on. Damn.
Yeah, man. You know, everything has been intense. Media has been covering everything, and you know, they've been doing a bad job. But the sports has been relevant enough to even stay within the focus. You know, so what do y'all think? You know, how do y'all feel about the weeks ago? I mean, my Eagles are looking horrible.
Oh.
I still feel as though we have a chance, but you know, what do y'all think?
You feel y'all got a chance?
Yeah, you know, real quick, being as though you want to reply back to what I said, I think we definitely have a chance. Be 4-4. All we got to do is tie up our three divisional games and win 3 games, and we leave at 10-6.
So, G Nice, remember last week? One of the three of us, I'm not going to say which one of the three of us it was. I'm not going to talk about the Eagles no more if they lose. Last week.
I think he's still a little grumpy because he wasn't able to get his free coffee from Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay, so that wasn't you.
No, it wasn't me, though.
Okay, Well, I don't think it was me.
No,
it could have been me. Was it me?
I don't think it was me.
Okay.
So what happened to those Steelers?
Oh, we can change that.
But you know,
Dunkin' Donuts didn't give his free coffee.
Yeah. I've been asleep since then. I've been asleep since Monday. Yes, I was highly disappointed. And then we had that little campaign running that we was trying to get T.O. because T.O. said, "Hey, I've been working out over here. I'm ready to come back." And they didn't inquire about him, you know. So when I got over it, I really looked at the facts, and the facts really stated that we're down bad, 4-4. It's real bad, but we're still 500, so we still have an opportunity, and we're undefeated at home. So, you know, welcome to Atlanta. You know, Mr. Atlanta's coming over here. So if we upset them like we did the Steelers, no name, no blame, we actually still got a shot. So all we got to do is win 3 non-divisional games and 3 division games, and that looks like a good record there.
Okay,
so
you're saying that, you know, y'all are going to toss in against Matt Ryan and his 2,980 yards thus far in the NFL season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That didn't sound so confident, did it?
The Atlanta Falcons,
Yeah.
429.2 yards per game.
You got to have 5 seconds to get those yards off like he's been doing getting to Julio, right? All the passes been going to Julio been 5 seconds back. So if Benny Logan is also back as well. We've missed Benny Logan for 2 weeks. So therefore, by Benny Logan being back, that means if we can get to him in 3 seconds, he cannot get the ball to Julio Jones. He has to pass to somebody else. So that means that there's a possibility of an interception or a sack.
You know, I'll be honest with you, Julio Jones is only effective almost every other week. It's a week into it where the defense backs off and gives him all he needs to.
Oh my gosh, is G nice?
Next week he turns back around, and all of a sudden you got the tight end scoring 2 touchdowns and catching the balls, and then you know Mohamed Sanu catching balls for you.
Yeah,
There's a lot of weapons in there. And what happens is Julio Jones gets slept on because he's not getting the ball the first quarter, the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. You're kind of like, oh, the ball's going everywhere else.
Right.
Step up, and Julio's like, all right, all I need is 1 quarter to put up 100 yards. That's all I need.
Well, you know, I am a little question about that because speaking of first quarters, our first quarter's been bad. We've been letting the past 3 weeks straight. We've been letting teams put up 14 to 21 points in the first quarter. So if we can get past that and actually start scoring first, we might have an opportunity because we know that the Atlanta Falcons is also bad on the road and better at home. So I'm going to leave it on that note, you know, saying that there's a possibility.
I'm just going to say, look, I'm not really counting out your Eagles completely. I'm just going to say it's going to be a really, really tough schedule.
True.
Put yourself in there.
True.
You got to play the Falcons this week, then the Seahawks and the Packers, and then the
Chiefs and Seahawks.
So you just have a really rough schedule for the next couple of weeks.
Right.
You got to find a way to stay afloat in all those games.
Okay. We can lose 2 weeks. We can lose 2 weeks, non-divisional.
Yeah, but you know, I'm just saying, you're coming into a really, really rough situation.
Right.
Where the next 4 teams you're going to play are powerhouse teams. And you're expecting your team to come power through that. And I'm not going to put your season on the downfall. your team has come up and you played very well. You have a rookie quarterback that is still learning the progress. You have a rookie coach still learning the progress. You're learning all the stuff you can. It might be just a lot harder this year for you guys to turn out to be something that we want it to be.
Yeah.
It shows progress. If you guys are able to keep this same core, add some great pieces next year,
right,
you guys are a force to be reckoned with. At this point in time, it's going to show how much grit and how much will and work that you guys can kind of force these, at least the next 4 games.
Okay. I mean, I'm honestly, real quick, I really want us to invest into some wide receivers because, to be honest with you, I thought that we had a team that wasn't afraid to spend money. We gave a lot of money to guys that actually deserved it, and we still haven't put no real receivers on the team. We're still dealing with people from the Chip Kelly era, and they're actually really killing us because we have a decent quarterback that came out to play and compete for a playoff spot, and we're struggling because we got guys that have bricks on their hands and they can't catch the ball.
I think if Dallas has a prove a point period that you can get them any wide receivers you want, but if you don't have a running back, it ain't nothing for you. And I think you guys can still hold the wide receiver core if you actually had a 1,000-yard back sitting behind you. Darren Sproles is not a every down back. Ryan Matthews is just not there for you guys. If I would say anything for your team, I would go after a elite running back and piece it together. Because you look at the Cowboys now, Des Bryant doesn't lead in the league in touchdowns. The second or third best wide receiver coming in the league period is Beasley, let alone that he's number 1 for their team.
But why we gotta keep talking about the Cowboys though?
Because
can we talk about another team?
Well,
let's talk about your Steelers.
Hold on.
I don't want to hear about no bum Cowboys. I don't care that they're 7-1.
Let me
I was gonna say I don't care.
Let me throw
You're about to make me leave the room because I don't care about no Cowboys. We gotta keep every week we talk about the Cowboys.
Let me throw this other Eagles
That's
thing
why
out.
I threw the Eagles out there first. I'm getting tired of talking about the Cowboys.
The Eagles at the beginning of the season, it was predicted that the Eagles would go 8-8. You know what I mean? That was before the season even started, before anybody had any inkling of what Wentz was going to be coming into the rookie year.
Right.
If the Eagles end up 8-8 this year, it's a season of bust.
No. I mean, facts wise, rookie coach, rookie quarterback. To me alone, that right there, we was already in a rebuilding stage. Actually, I was shocked. By week 2, looking at the preseason and coming into week 2, I was shocked at what we had, and that's why I was like, wide receiver, we need a wide receiver, you know.
So you're saying that right now, at this point in the season, the Eagles are pretty much still playing with house money.
Yes, but we are still showing our colors that we will not spend money. We gave guys money, but we will not bring nobody in. And to me, and I want to get your opinion on that real quick. Do you think a coach is fault for losing their job because sometimes they do not want to spend money on bringing somebody in to help the system instead of keeping the same guys and making the same mistakes and hurting the system?
Well, I think every franchise is only self-destructive in its own ways. I mean, you look at the Redskins in the aspect for the longest period of time. They're bringing in coaches in and out, bringing quarterbacks in and out. They're self-destructive. It's just an environment that you bring in. You look at, I know you don't want to talk about the Cowboys, but you look at the Cowboys.
Gosh, this dude,
over time.
Is it a Cowboy family?
You look at the Cowboys over the time and the amount of great coaches that came to be there and the success they had everywhere else, and they come to the Cowboys and it's an epic fail for them.
Right.
They're just not there.
Right.
As a franchise, if you're going to commit to a coach, you commit to a coach 100% and give him what he needs to win.
Right.
And if you don't, then you can't expect any different outcome from any different coach that comes in.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to say, I'm going to toss in, it depends on the position, too.
Right.
So I'm saying, because you're looking at, the premium that you're going to put and rely on a franchise quarterback. Mm-hmm. The Eagles' issue now is wide receiver. Mm-hmm. And the wide receiver position has turned into what the running back position used to be.
Right.
A lot of times folks don't want to spend the money to go out and go get a high-priced vet because they're looking at what's coming out of college. I mean, if they're going to get lucky enough that they're going to get somebody that's going to come out of college,
right,
that's going to be of use right away,
right,
and wide receiver being a young man's position,
right.
I mean, they're again looking to say, okay, if I can save money here and go get a wide receiver who I'm thinking is going to turn the corner,
right,
that's their position on being frugal about who they bring in and when.
Well, I mean, when I stated that question, I meant in the middle of the season bringing in somebody in. Everybody wants to wait the whole season out and then wonder why. Not saying that Doug Peterson, he's not going to lose his job. I mean, it's his first year. Right. But usually some vet coaches will be on the team and they see that they're struggling and they see that what they're missing at, they won't adapt in the middle of the season and then wonder why they got fired at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And so, like that's why, I mean, we looking at, there are wide receivers out there right now that we can actually take and bring in.
I think Buffalo is a prime example for what your statement is. You look at their offensive coordinator prior to week 3.
Right.
It was just the offense was dragging.
Right.
The offense is still a little dragging, but
Definitely.
what happened, they dropped the offensive coordinator, brought a new one in.
Yeah.
And their offense got picked up better. They have no defensive issues. They have 2 great defense masterminds, the Ryan brothers, sitting on that aspect.
Definitely.
They just don't have an offensive mind to sit the counterpart.
Yes.
And they brought somebody in to do better.
Yeah.
What do they do also? They went out and they picked up Reggie Bush.
Yes.
They also went up and made, what's his name come out of retirement?
Yes.
Percy Harvin.
Harvard. Yes.
So, I mean, yeah, there is that capability, but you got to kind of...
And you can see the change.
But you kind of have to know your team to make sure you bringing in puzzle pieces doesn't take the team down. You can always think that bringing in a puzzle piece might help, but you can bring in a different kind of mojo into a locker room that might kill. You might think of, oh man, well, I guess I wasn't good enough, so you got to bring this player in, and you might lose that. So you got to kind of check your players to make sure, is it okay? Can I, in mid-season, can I bring a player in and not completely tear down everything I have?
But it's the fit. I mean, and again, so for the Eagles, you're looking at the Eagles would need a go-get-it wide receiver.
T.O.
I mean, and well, T.O. maybe 6 years ago, 7. I mean, but really
he's been
right
training
now,
every year.
But really right now, for the Eagles, you would need somebody in that Randy Moss athletic freak
I was thinking
type. I mean,
But I'm thinking
I was gonna throw out
$500,000 for
the
a
word Mike
diversion.
Evans. I was like, you guys would need like a Mike Evans from
yeah,
Tampa Bay.
you would need somebody that outside of the playbook, because it's going to take a while for a wideout to come in and digest the playbook.
Yeah.
But what you're not going to be able to discount is if someone is so athletically gifted that if you say, okay, look, run 30 and I'm going to drop this on you, 30 yards out.
What about the Browns wide receiver, Gordon?
Oh, Josh Gordon.
He just came out of rehab. No, he did. I mean, I don't mean to sound crazy. I mean, it's crazy. He just came out of rehab. Nobody's picking him up. Why don't? Where is that? He's back available.
But I mean, it's almost an aspect of being a project. Do you want to take on this project? And, we know he's good, but he has so many other issues. All right, so I pick you up, and then mid-season, week 3, week 4, and you think you're going to go back to doing what you're doing again, and then now all of a sudden, I had you, you're gone, and I don't know what's going to happen next. So there comes with for especially Josh Gordon, is can I prove myself that I'm fine before I get picked up? It's when you get anybody that has those errors. This is what his second year of being violated the drug policy, having these issues. Now he has to go through these NFL regulations to actually be reinstated.
Right.
It's just a lot to put on your team. And then now here on game day, I got to explain why I picked up Josh Gordon. We got to have Josh Gordon conversation. My quarterback isn't talking about the game; he's talking about Josh Gordon.
I mean,
do you want to bring all that?
I'm a fan of the underdog. I'm a fan of the underdog that proving. Like I've been out the game for a while. Now I have to prove myself. We're known for doing that. I mean, I even remember when Chad Johnson had the problem in Miami, and we are quiet people. We told him not to say nothing to the media. He then tweeted, "Oh, I missed my flight because I was out partying," and he shows up in Philly, and we sent him back. Now, we shouldn't have never sent him back. We should have actually let him play. We might have been in a different position, but at the same time, we do give people chances.
Well,
so I like the fact of us giving chances and letting the person try. All I'm saying is, we got. I respect Matthews because he don't pay attention to the media. He really tries to catch some balls. I mean, he had almost 1,000 yards last season. I don't like Aguilar's position because Aguilar is just like, so what? I'm not catching the ball. Get over it. And it's like, I understand that we're in a rebuilding stage, but we had a strong opportunity to still compete for the playoffs, and you're saying, get over it. Like, to me, that doesn't seem right, because when you get shocked on a rookie quarterback that's actually playing, you're like, yo, we got to keep this momentum going. If we don't, he's not going to be the same thing next season.
I do agree that you guys don't have the best wide receiver core. I definitely do. But I'm still stuck for you guys on the running game, because I think the running game will allow Wentz to have more time in the pocket. It gives your wide receivers more time. I think a lot of it, because you look at some teams in the league that have a strong running game and have a weak wide receiver core, but yet they're a good team. Minnesota's a great aspect. With AP back there, you can really throw the ball whoever you want to. I don't think that Minnesota's wide receiver staff is really good. I mean, Stephon Diggs is pretty good. I feel like Kyle Rudolph is kind of blown out. Like they make him sound better than he really is.
Right.
I think the running game allows them to be good players.
Right.
Yeah, the running game is a rookie QB's second best friend. You know what I mean? You're looking at offensive line being the first thing, but a good running back, again, ball control, there's less that he's going to have to do, and there's less that he's going to have to consider, under fire. If you got a running back who can consistently get you 3-4, not even running at a 5 or 6, but a consistent 3-4, that changes your entire offense.
He needs to be consistently good. Patriots is a prime example. LeGarrette Blount. I don't think he's Hall of Fame or maybe even a all-star cast running back.
Right.
But he is good enough to get the job done. He's good enough to take the load off Tom Brady when he needs to. And Tom Brady now this year has a load of weapons of wide receivers that are known and have names to it. But I think a couple of years ago when they were running for championship runs, they had LeGarrette Blount back there running the ball.
Yeah.
And he's giving him just enough a break to make his wide receivers look good.
Well, and let me also throw in on maybe the reason why you don't go out and try to get the wide out right now is because it reeks of desperation in one sense to say, okay, our season is on the brink or our season is over. And as much as I don't want to beat the dead horse, you look back at Dallas.
Hey, man, I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
Dallas
I don't want to hear about Dallas.
Remember the Dallas years when they went out and tried to get a quarterback every
Big
year?
Mike.
They try to go out and go get Pac-Man Jones. They try to go out and go get Keyshawn Johnson. Every time they went and tried to make those splashy acquisitions, it reeked of the fact that their season was either on the brink or over.
Yeah.
Forget Dallas. They ain't making no playoffs. Like, again, I don't want to have a conversation about the Dallas. I've been getting chewed out about Dallas. I lost a couple bets on Dallas. This is not my day right now for Dallas. So, Jay, we're going to take a quick break. I'm leaving my fellas right now because they're talking about Dallas, and I know they're going to talk about Dallas again. So we're going to take a quick break. You're tuned in right now to the hottest live on the Culdesac show. In and out.
You're listening to the hottest live radio representing Dover, Delaware, Tri-State, Delmarva, and the Eastern Shore.
Yo, what up, good people? We have run our boy Jay Irv out of the building. You know what I mean? That Eagles talk got real live for him, brother. What you think?
Yeah, he was a little salty. He'd be all right though. He has a game.
There's always next week. There's always next week.
Again today while I'm watching the games, but hey, it's part of football. That's why we watch it.
Well, and like I said, he don't want to hear that Dallas talk. And like I said, now me being a commentator that doesn't have a dog in the fight, I mean, you can't discount the fact that Dallas is looking great right now.
I'm not a Dallas fan either. I hate the Dallas Cowboys, and hate's a strong word, but I really dislike them a lot. Over my career watching football, I've watched them beat us twice in the Super Bowl, and I get tired of hearing about them every year. But you know what? For the first time in a long time, they have a reason to be talked about on TV, on social media. They are playing great football, and the biggest key for me isn't Dak Prescott. For me, it is definitely Ezekiel Elliott. He gives them a lift. If it's running for 100 yards, if it's running for 50 yards, regardless how he does it, the boy's power, the boy's speed, the boy's ability gives a scary precedence to any team they're playing. And unfortunately, my Steelers have to play him today.
Okay.
And I'm a little worried about our run defense. It's
Let's
not
talk
very
about
good.
that. Let's talk about that.
It's not very good this year.
Okay, so now, coming into the day, we've been playing in Pittsburgh. I mean, Pittsburgh putting up 32 points per game at home. Is that going to be enough today?
If we can do that, yes. The key has to be, if I watched last week's against the Ravens game, one of the biggest problems was Ben. And not often we say Ben is one of the biggest problems, but he definitely was. He was throwing off target. And if he can complete passes and not throwing behind or throwing in the dirt, we can actually keep this a battle. The aspect of this is, the problem is that it's not going to be a really defensive battle. So it's who can score at the very end is how this game is going to kind of run out. I don't see it being a major stop or major stoppages through the beginning of the game. Maybe one at the end to cause the game to end, but it's really who can score at the end because we both have high-power offenses.
True.
But we both have weak defenses.
Well, and that's what I was going to address. I was going to say now, this is one of the first times that you're ever going to hear the Pittsburgh Steelers 13th ranked run defense, 24th ranked defense overall in the league right now. What are you putting that on?
It hurts. You know, being a lifetime Steelers fan, living in Pittsburgh, we breathe, we feed off of our defense. This is what it is. Pittsburgh pumps out so many linebackers and pros as a city. To see that, it's different. It's not what I think of my team to be.
Okay. Now, do you think that over the last 2 years that y'all have become so enamored with the offense, with the killer bees, that your defense may have suffered?
I think the losing of our defensive coordinator going to the Titans. I think also of our defensive stars getting older and now having to find new ones to replace them with. It's just a transition period for us. Losing Paul and Malo, losing these players, we just don't have that X factor on defense that we used to have. And Shazier from Ohio State, who plays our linebacker, he kind of been filtering in that void for us somewhat.
Okay.
This year he's off and on with injuries. We have Harrison coming back. He's a brute, but he's not what he was 5 years ago. The only downfall I have for the Steelers, when we go after defense, we actually no longer going after corners. We keep bringing these weak corners back into onto our defense who can't shut down anybody, who can't out-physical guys or be this monster of a thing. They can hit, which I love the fact they can hit, but they can't stop a wide receiver. And the only wide receiver that we've ever able this year to actually give fits to was AJ Green, but that's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I guarantee we stack up against them. AJ Green's going to have a hell of a game against us.
Okay. Now, they're predicting Ezekiel Elliott 150 today in two scores. Possible? Conceivable? How you feel about that?
Sadly, very possible. I hope not. I hope we kind of give a nice little pop early in the beginning of the game, or I hope we get to that aspect where we score quickly in the beginning of the game.
Okay.
Make Prescott throw the ball. Make them earn it that way. I don't want to see, as much as a quiet part of me is rooting for Zeke Elliott, my Ohio State, love is there. The large part of me don't want him to do anything. Doesn't want anything to come out of him. I hope he gets, 55 yards and a fumble or something in that aspect. Now, with his talent, I don't see that happening. But I would hope in the beginning of the game, we get in here and we start scoring early and make the ball go in the air and not on the ground.
Okay. The most pivotal point of this game for you being what? Either Dallas side or the Steelers side. Who's the player or what's the time and position to watch where you think this game is going to hinge on?
I'm going to go Beasley, the wide receiver for Dallas, is going to be the most pivotal piece. On those third and shorts, you got to get the ball out somewhere.
Okay.
And if they can move the chain on third and shorts, most likely it's your slot wide receiver, and Beasley has really good hands. On the Steelers side, I'm going to say Sammy Coates, because we all know the ball is going to go to Antonio Brown. We all know the ball is going to go to Le'Veon Bell, but there needs to be another access, another person to step up and play. And it seems like Sammy Coates is the person my Steelers want to throw to. But it seems like Sammy Coates is eating butter popcorn every time he comes to the game because it slips out of his hands and him in the face. If he can play good, if he catch the deep ball, if he can play well, this game is going to be a nice little battle.
Okay.
Because like I said, we all know Antonio Brown, what he can do, and they all know they're going to double team and triple team and try to stack up against him. We need another wide receiver to give that pressure off him.
Well, see, and that's my point. Coming into this game, you're looking at actually both teams have the same strengths and pretty well the same weaknesses because Dallas's defense is nothing that you're going to put up to just say, okay, yeah, I know they have a shutdown defense. Dallas's defense is kind of coming into the season having a bend but don't break type mentality.
Right.
And they've been bolstered so much by the offense that they really haven't had to do a lot. I mean, but you're looking at, they've had a couple of injuries, but I'm thinking that Brown's going to get his. I'm thinking that Bell is going to get his. But if it comes down as a close game and into the fourth, it's not going to be predicated on the offenses per se. It's going to be whose defense makes a mistake.
Who makes that one? It's going to be either way. It's going to be who makes it either that one stop or who makes a one bad coverage where it's going to lead the game to win.
Okay.
Unfortunately, like I said, it's not going to be a defensive game. It's not going to be a battle all the way through. I just really think fourth quarter is going to come in with what offense doesn't do what they're supposed to do, what offense doesn't score, and what defense makes that one stop that they need the whole entire game to make it theirs.
Okay, give me the points and the win.
I'm going 27-21 Steelers. I'm going to stay on my Steelers. I'm going to be a little bit more faithful. It's unrealistic, but I'm going to be faithful. That's what I'm just going to say.
All right. If the Steelers do lose, what happens to your season? Are you in it? Are you out of it? How do you feel about it?
We're still in it. Baltimore isn't, even though they beat us last week, is not playing the best. Cincinnati's not playing the best. Even though Baltimore got a win Thursday.
Yeah, Baltimore's got that mojo going on.
They have some stuff going, but their schedule gets tough because they have to play the Cowboys and the Bengals and the Dolphins and then the Patriots. So they have a tough schedule. They have a tough ending schedule with the Eagles, us, and then Bengals. So they have this battle they have to go through, where we definitely have a better opportunity to go ahead and win out the rest of the season to push us there.
Okay. Are y'all making the playoffs?
Yes.
All right. Oh, that sounded solid there.
Yes, I believe we'll make the playoffs. I don't believe that we might make it comfortably. It might be another wild card season for us that we don't have to kind of win it all out.
Does Ben play better this game?
Yes, Ben definitely plays better this game. Ben, he holds such a high expectation for himself, and I'm pretty sure over the week of looking at the tape, he has beat himself up all week to make sure that he plays a better game.
Okay, so by better, are we talking 200, 300?
220, no interceptions.
220 and no picks. Okay.
I'm not even the touchdown part. I mean, we can go anywhere with that. It could be anywhere between 2 and 4. But the biggest key line for me for this game is him not having any
all right.
interceptions.
You heard it from G Nice first. I'm saying now we're going to dip into another game. Actually, the marquee game of the week. You're looking at the Seattle Seahawks and the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? Could be a Super Bowl preview. How you feeling about it?
I'm really looking for this game. There's a lot of storylines that are coming into this. Rematch of the Super Bowl. You got Richard Sherman's all fired up all now, and then he's playing pretty good. I'm looking forward to see how this revenge-ish game kind of plays. Does Tom Brady come out and still shove it in the league's face that he's the MVP of the league, or does Seattle kind of get a payback for the Super Bowl and punch them and give them their second loss? Maybe to kind of rethink their season.
Okay. The Seattle defense has looked decent, but it hasn't looked up to the level that it has the last couple of years.
I think that goes with the lack of offense. You don't have Marshall Lynch back there, the power back. So you're now relying on your wide receivers to kind of do things. And I give Baldwin his ability to be good.
Okay.
But they don't have an all-star wide receiver. But you look at their tight end. He's doing really good for them. He stepped up last week with 2 touchdowns with 110 yards. Jimmy Graham just really looked very good. So if Jimmy Graham can turn it on, that might be a complete change for their season. Okay.
Well, you also got to consider the fact that they have a gimpy Russell Wilson running around back there.
But a gimpy Russell Wilson this year has looked like a all-star quarterback for anybody else's team. Like, he is not making one excuse at all. If you watch the interview prior to last week's game, they try to allow him to make excuses for his mistakes by saying he's injured. And he kept telling them, no, it's game time. It's either put up or shut up kind of time. And that's what you want out of a quarterback or any player that is going to play hurt. You're either all in or all out. Don't put your injuries on the board to make excuses. Okay.
Most pivotal point of this game?
I'm going to say the pivotal point of this game is how you walk into the second half. So how you end the first half. I think that if the Seattle is up in points by halftime, that Seattle will win the game.
Okay. Now, what are you considering about the Gronkowski factor? Listen, does Gronk show up this game? How you feeling?
I think Gronk is showing up anytime Tom Brady's playing, period. But I think this is the one difficult game that he will have because this is the one game that the linebackers and the corners and the free safeties are close to his size.
True.
So it actually has to be a physical game for him. And not when he plays us, we don't have anybody his size to kind of guard him. We're kind of
there's the problem right there. You know what I'm saying? It's the matchup issue.
I think this is going to be a good matchup. But you know what? How can you count on Gronk? Gronk is he's Mr. Catch It. You put it in his vicinity, he's going to catch it, rumble and stumble about another 5 yards, and he's going to do what he does. I just think that they're going to manage Gronk a lot better.
Okay. See, I'm just figuring, you got Brady at an MVP clip right now. I mean, even with the 4-game suspension, the guy's got a chip on his shoulder.
X factor is Chris Hogan for the Patriots.
Okay.
Because, again, he kind of disappeared for a couple games. You didn't hear anything about it. And then they played Buffalo, and he appeared in the very beginning of the game. Caught a nice, 56-yard touchdown, and then a couple short ones. And then because they already winning the game, they allowed Chris Hogan to disappear again. And I think the name of Danny Mandola, and you got everybody else sitting out there, Chris Hogan kind of falls in the mix of where is he? And all of a sudden he's going to appear and make some big plays.
Okay. Sherman get a pick today?
No pick for Sherman.
No picks?
No pick for Sherman.
Okay, so look, the pick we're going to make is the game. What's your pick?
I'm rooting for Seattle. I'm going for Seattle this week. I think it's going to be a different look that Patriots have not been able to see all week, and I think the chip on Richard Sherman's shoulder spreads out without the whole team.
Okay, I can't. I was going to say it's as much, and you know what? And I like Seattle, and I think Seattle has found a way to still win, even with they're getting a little older. I mean, they're getting a little bit longer in the tooth. You've gone from a pounding type of offense to with Michael's back there. Michael's almost reminds me of a bigger Sproles.
Right.
I mean, he does a lot of the cutting and slashing, but he's not a ball control running back.
Right.
So, I mean, I've got to still say that at the end of the day, it's going to be hard for me to go against the Patriots with what they have and what they're doing this season. So I'm saying, I'm thinking 35-24 picks.
I can see that.
All right.
I can definitely see the game. It's going to be a good game.
There it is. You heard it here first.
You're listening to the hottest live radio representing Dover, Delaware, Tri-State, Delmarva, and the Eastern Shore.
All right. Welcome back to the Culdesac. I'm your boy Big Mike. We have lost Jay Irv today. Jay Irv has left the building.
He's doing some family things, taking care of the family business.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Jay Irv. You know what I'm saying? Look, we got nothing but love and respect for the fam, people. All right, getting back and keeping our eyes focused on the AFC. Outside of the Patriots, who is the solid number 2 for you in the AFC? Who's your number 2 squad?
They don't show it in standings, but I'm still going to put Denver up there. Denver,
really?
Because their capability of playing good defense and the fact that they can play good defense, they're in every game that they're going to play. They're involved in everything that the game is going to happen. So as the season progresses and they get their offense and kind of get it figured out more, they have the talent, the capability of being out there, have the talent of being out there and doing big things. But like I said, if you look at their standings and look at some of their games, yeah, they've kind of fallen off a little bit. But their defense keeps them in the game every game that they play. So the opportunity of them taking over a game and winning is there.
Okay.
No other team in the AFC right now definitely has that capability. It's either your offense is clicking or you're getting blown out.
So even with the struggles that Trevor Siemian is having of these last couple of games, you're still going to take the Bronx over, say, the 6-2 Chiefs or the 7-2 Raiders?
I think the Raiders are kind of going through a phase. I think the Raiders are. I like the fact the Raiders are winning. I mean, win at any cost, whatever it is. I like it, but their defense is not keeping them. Their offense is the only reason. So if they had to play a team with a tough defense, I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be able to put up enough points. I think the Raiders must put up points to win games, or the Broncos must play good defense to win games, and they can win a 14-7 game and call it a day. I don't think Oakland can win that.
Okay.
Now, the Chiefs, on the other hand,
there you go.
is all about health. Their issue is coming with health. Alex Smith was out for a concussion. You still have Jamal Charles coming back from his issues. We haven't heard squat about Jeremy Maclin this year.
No, not at all.
And Kelsey, their tight end, which is a really good tight end, if he can keep his head in the game, because, if you watched last week, his head in the game was not there. There's a couple flagrant fouls that he got called for just walking and talking. So there's a lot of issues that they still have. Where Denver, like I said, the defensive side is pretty straight, and they're getting back their players that were hurt. Mm-hmm. It's just understanding to make sure their offense is clicking back together.
But if Simeon continues to struggle, do you think that defense is going to get exposed a little bit? I mean, if for no other reason than the fact that they're on the field as much as they've been.
I do agree with you. Any defense sitting on the field is going to get exposed when you've been on the field for so long. But I can only imagine that they're going to get things together. I can't see John Elway not coming down and being like, look, this is how we're going to piece things together. This is how we're going to make things work. And they have the star power to do it. You have two elite wide receivers with Thomas and Sanders to be powerful. I understand you lost your running back, but I mean, Brooks is doing pretty good back there as well. I just can't see the Broncos not figuring out the second half how to put up offensive power.
Okay, so in your viewpoint, why is Trevor Siemian struggling as much as he is? He didn't have those same struggles through the first 3 games?
You know what? I still think it's still new to him. It's still new to him. It's still the same aspect of.
So you're thinking that the pace of the league may have caught up to him,
and then you lost your running back. And I will never not stress the importance of having a running back. Prescott is great because of his running back. Wentz struggles because he doesn't have a running back. You know, that running back aspect is where it is, and I think if Booker can kind of get things going, or they can rely more on the running game, that will be there. And then, you know what? The coach of Denver, I think, has kind of had a little brain lapse. What he is really good at is moving quarterbacks out of the pocket, making the game move to him. And they have not done that this year. Okay. And that was the biggest thing they wanted to do when they got rid of Peyton Manning, is to add that offense capability in there, and they just haven't done it this year. So far. I think it's going to come, though.
You think that's going to happen for them eventually?
Yeah, I think now, half the season coming, the realization that they're going to have to do some things differently is there. Okay,
so where do you see Denver coming in? You say coming to the close of the season. Are they a wild card? How are you thinking?
I think they eventually win their division.
You think they're going to win the division outright?
Outright. They'll eventually win their division outright.
Wow.
I think Oakland, like I said, is doing great, but I think they're going to come to a struggle. They're going to come to a struggle where, they're going to face more defensive teams. They're going to have to battle a little bit more. And then you're coming back again to playing teams that you've already played, that knows your offensive skills and knows what you got to do. And so when you got to come back and play them again, I think they're going to step up and be like, we already know what your normal game is. Let's go. Other aspect is they also got to play San Diego, and I feel like San Diego is definitely a playoff wrecker.
Yeah, San Diego is a team that nobody wants to see, even at 4-5.
Yeah, San Diego could be 1-7, and you still got to worry about them because they are playoff wreckers. They ruin your chances for playoffs.
Yeah. I was going to say they are proverbially that box of chocolates.
Yeah,
every week to week, you never know what you're going to get out of them.
Yeah, they're that one player on the basketball team that knows just how to foul. That's all they know how to do. I can put up 20 points, but now when you go from layup, I'm going to smack you back down on the ground.
And I think for them, they're going to embrace that role coming down the stretch. I don't see, San Diego being if they made the playoffs, I will be ultra surprised.
Right.
But what I do think is that they can make it harder on a lot of the other teams in the AFC and still be able to keep that aura that, next year, we didn't get you this year, but we're going to get you next year.
Yeah. And you as the end of the season comes, Oakland has that storyline of possibly going to Vegas. So, do you win?
Oh, they're going to Vegas.
Do you lose on a big how do you end that? And when you come close to the season and you're already doing pretty good, here comes the talk no longer about your record or no longer about what you've been doing.
Okay.
It's about how are you going to adjust to go to Las Vegas?
So there
wait
you go.
a minute, huh? We were winning.
So Denver being your solid number 2. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, we're going to do the top 3 on both sides. Okay, so we're saying the Pats number 1, Denver number 2. Who's 3? It gets a little difficult here.
It does get difficult here. Let me.
Steelers, Raiders.
I would like to say
Chiefs.
Steelers will. I like to say Steelers are going to win our conference in 3.
Okay. But how confidently can you say it?
I can't right now until I can officially see us play consistent back-to-back good games.
Okay.
I think that's our biggest downfall. We play one great one, we go one low one. We play one great one, we play one low one. The sneaky aspect of all this.
Number 3.
Houston might be number 3.
What?
Only reason I say that is because of their division. Because of their conference, they just can't. There's a possibility. They're Indianapolis, Tennessee, and Jacksonville can't keep things going. And the funny thing is, I thought Jacksonville was going to be definitely the white horse in this, not the dark horse. The person just randomly pop out of nowhere and start doing great. But they're not. And same thing with Indianapolis. They win some games, they lose some games.
Are the Bengals out of it? Are the Bengals out of the conversation?
I think the Bengals got too one-dimensional. A.J. Green is their only target now. And Jeremy Hill, who was an elite running back, is now being substituted for Ja'Marr Bernard, and you just becoming one-dimensional. You don't have what you had before, and their defense has kind of died off. Their defense was hard knock. We'll knock you down. We're going to bruise you, and you're watching them play other teams, and they're not really doing it to them.
So number 3, pick it.
I'm going to go Houston. I'm going to say I sadly want to say Houston's going to slide up there to number 3 because of their division not being that tough.
Okay, all right. Well, let's slide into the NFC a little bit. and I'm going to give you a different take in the NFC. Out of both of the struggling franchises you have coming into this week, who are you still believing in a little bit more? Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings?
You want to believe in Green Bay. You have Aaron Rodgers there. There's this little halo that sits on top of his head. You want to believe because they have a more powerful and more equipped team. I'm going to say Minnesota. Minnesota is because they know what they're working with. Okay. They are not planning to exceed expectation because they know what they're working with. And so anything they do better is just like a hurrah for them. And then
True.
Adrian Peterson comes back.
That's what I was going to say. They do have the specter of getting
push.
AP back before the season's out.
Because with Green Bay, you had Eddie Lacy there before he got hurt. And what was Eddie Lacy doing? Nothing. Randall Cobb seems to be absent again. So, you just don't really have everything that needs to be there. And what I'm going to say, they're going to get better in the next couple weeks because so-and-so's coming back? Nobody's coming back to help them.
No. Well, and the difference with Green Bay is the fact that they have played from behind so much. And I think part of that mystique with them was being able to put the boot on a team's neck. And keep it there. And they seriously do not have that this year.
But do you think they can only do it in the cold?
No.
I
years
feel like
past,
that's when they are the strongest.
In years past, they've been able to do it, and they've traveled well in years past. But I do think, part of it due to the injuries, part of it due to the fact that Aaron Rodgers seems, for the first time, to not be able to figure it out. Aaron Rodgers has been the same one of the RELAX. This season, he hasn't been able to figure it out.
You know what? But I think that the secret shocker is Detroit in that whole area. Detroit being 5-4, being second in that conference. Minnesota kind of going through a struggle. Mm-hmm. If Minnesota loses today, Detroit wins, and Green Bay kind of squeaks by, then we might kind of say Detroit is going to kind of take that over secretly, on a small, a small scale, because we're not talking much about it. We don't really talk much about their team. They don't really have much of a team going there. If I guarantee you, if I let everybody know that Baldwin is there as their wide receiver, I think you might have not even realized that he was even there right now. They're just a small, quiet team, and they're at the point now that they can take that division and push Green Bay and Minnesota down.
Well, but Stafford is playing. I mean, in reality, although they are not a big market team that you're not going to see on the marquee 4:00 game or the 8:00 Sunday night game. Matthew Stafford has put up MVP type numbers for them this year.
I think he was because he felt. I think when Megatron was there, he felt like he had to force things through.
Yeah, they didn't have anything to lose this season.
Megatron gave him that air, that air ability to just kind of make an air, and Megatron's going to come back and be athletically gifted to get it back for him.
Yeah.
Now he kind of has wide receivers that you have to get it to on target, or the game's not going to be there for you. And so it requires him to be a better quarterback.
That's what I was just going to ask you. You figure even taking away a supreme weapon, like Megatron, I mean, has that made him a better QB?
Yeah, because he has to focus more. He has to realize that opportunity of air isn't there anymore. He doesn't have that freak of nature wide receiver to do what he has to do. He has to be a better quarterback to fix his errors. But you know what? I'm going to put this on Aaron Rodgers, though. I'm going to put Green Bay's unsuccess on Aaron Rodgers.
So do I.
Because his lack of being prepared for games. I think Aaron Rodgers has got this bloated head right now that he is the best quarterback in the league, or one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he does not practice or prepare like he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I think that's the reason why Tom Brady is still the best quarterback in the league.
Well, and that's the conversation that over the years you've heard, is it Aaron Rodgers or is it Tom Brady? But you got to think, like I said, Tom Brady was suspended for 4 games, and he came in and look at the body of work that he's put up. I mean, whereas you look at Aaron Rodgers, again, he looks for the first time like he's
lost.
Yeah, he's not in control of what's going on with that offense.
And I think he needs to do the reverse. He needs to stop relaxing. Play with the chip on your shoulder.
But can they? Can they play with a sense of urgency enough that's going to be able to get them?
That's what always done until Aaron Rodgers got there. All of a sudden, you think about it, when we had Brett Favre there, Brett Favre had a chip on his shoulder, the biggest in the world.
Oh, true.
Brett Favre is going to throw 4 interceptions and then get mad at you for catching them, and he's going to burn you with 4 touchdowns. It was this gritty, blue-collar chip on your shoulder that Aaron Rodgers doesn't have out from coming from Cali. He is this laid back, this kind of we'll get it when we get there kind of person. And I think after this year, if that's how he is next year, Green Bay's might get kind of tired of it. Brett Favre's already called out Aaron Rodgers and the head coach on that mentality. But I think Green Bay's kind of getting frustrated with that mentality.
So what do they need to do to fix it?
Either not Brett Favre. Either Aaron Rodgers.
You're calling Brett back again?
I might call him back. We have a pickup every Sunday. No, I'm joking. Aaron Rodgers either needs to step up and start playing for real, or they need to re-look at the whole team.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so, like I said, you got players that aren't going anywhere. You got a lot of players for them who are injured. Is this season for them just an anomaly? Is it just something that, you figured that the dice wasn't rolled the right way? Or is this the future for Green Bay? Is this... is this where it changes for them?
It has to change. They have to come to the mentality that they are the best in the league. I think that Green Bay also has like a Dallas effect, where we look at Dallas and no matter if they're good or bad, they're relevant. And Green Bay is almost the same aspect. If they're good or bad, they're relevant. And it seems like no matter if they're good or bad, we don't choose to tell them that they're bad. Yeah. And we're like, oh, well, Green Bay will get it next time, or it was a fluke, or it was the whatever. Green Bay's bad.
Yes.
And not bad like
and how
he's not like Cleveland bad, but they're bad to the persona that we give them.
But how long has it been since you've even been able to say that? It just appears as though their window as being, that top 3 to 4 in the league elite squad may be closing. They're going back a little bit towards the middle of the pack.
It's sad to say that because of the talent they have on the team, but because of their perspective, because of their aura, that the way they think, they are not able to play as well as they're not playing as well as they're really skilled. They're only playing up to whatever team's potential. So if they were to go play Cleveland today, they would play up to Cleveland's potential, and Cleveland would give them a run for it. They don't, as you said before, they don't want to put the foot to the throat and run over people. They just kind of want to barely beat people.
Yeah. Yep, I was going to say, and that definitely is not going to get it done, not in today's NFL. All right, we're going to take a break. It's the Culdesac, the hottest live radio. Yep. We'll hit you back in a minute, folks.
All right.
Yo, welcome back, sports fans. You're with the Culdesac, the hottest live radio. I'm your boy, Big Mike. We got G Nice at the board today. Yo, our boy J Irv is not with us, but we're gonna hold it down. Let's bust up a little bit of conversation about our boys Eagles today.
They got a without him being in the seat.
They got a hard road ahead today with the Atlanta Falcons.
They do. They have a lot going on with this offensive power that Atlanta's bringing in. How do you stop Julio? How do you stop the running game? How do you stop Matt Ryan from throwing 300 yards every game of the season? It's going to be a really, really tough game today.
Yeah, but you're looking at and as great as Atlanta has been, surprisingly, a little bit to me, surprisingly, they've been this good this year. But I think this game is more about what the Eagles are doing wrong.
I can agree with that. I really feel like the Eagles' running game is one of the biggest fail factors for the Eagles. I feel like because they can't move the ball on the ground, they're going to struggle moving the ball in the air. Now, don't get me wrong. The wide receivers are dropping passes, and they're not playing very well, but there is no cushion. There's no nothing. It's either you throw the ball or you give the ball up. And I think that's too much, especially to do with a rookie quarterback who's been playing as great as he's been playing.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but the reality of it is they've lost 4 of their last 5. Coming in, and does Winston's confidence start to get a little shaken? You were, pardon the pun, flying high. Just like the Biggie line, it was all good.
Yeah.
What are they doing now? There's differences that's causing them to have that mentality. They look a little out of sorts. I mean, they looked a little out of sorts last week, and if they come in this way against Atlanta, they're going to get blown out.
I don't think they're making any changes. They're not adapting to anything. They're just kind of letting it keep going. You won your first 4 games were amazing. You played extremely well your first 4 games, and you thought the NFL or other teams in the NFL were just going to let you play that way. Like you thought that, all right, well, the NFL thinks that we're great. We're going to keep coming in here and doing the same old thing over and over again. But teams in the NFL fail to realize that after your first 4 weeks, people tape on you. People know what you're doing. So the next four games are going to be tough. And they realize that the Eagles have no running game and they have mediocre wide receivers. So I'd rather let your wide receivers try to win that game for you than I would rather let your running staff kind of keep going on that.
True, and that's putting a lot of weight on what we still have to consider is a rookie QB.
Right.
I mean, and you got to think, 5 starts, he's thrown, 4 touchdowns compared to 5 interceptions over the last 4.
I mean, think about his first 5 games, he didn't throw one interception.
And I said that reeks of rookiness.
Oh yeah, but it also reeks of just nobody coming behind and putting him in a good situation so he doesn't have to deal with all that. There's nobody sitting there saying, "All right, I don't want you to be throwing 40-yard balls. I want you to throwing screen passes. I want you to shorten. Let's shorten this game. Let's shorten this playbook so that you can be successful." No, we're going to put you in a situation that you possibly could fail because we want to have this explosive offense that we had the very first 4 games.
Yeah, and you're really putting that on his shoulders now.
It's time to change.
I mean, because you got to think, Aguilar, Matthews. Yeah, but the face of that franchise now, whether you like it or not, is Carson Wentz.
Right.
I mean, and you're going to see quickly whether or not, we touted him over those first 3 games that he was going to be something possibly great.
We'll give him all the names he got. He was the next Aaron Rodgers, the next Big Ben,
almost the next Peyton Manning, But he's going to have to earn it for the remainder of this season.
Yeah.
I mean, because like you were saying, he's not a surprise to anybody now.
Nope.
And, the picks are starting to mount up.
Like I said, you look at it, that's the reason why. You look at Atlanta and the way they're playing, you can't really tell who's going to bring it that week.
True.
Every week has been a different person. We know Julio Jones is a freaking nature. I'm going to give him currently one of the best quarterbacks. He is number 1 wide receiver in the league currently.
Yeah, Julio has totally revived his entire career.
He is, and I think he is one of the best. But he also has an understanding that this week may not be his week to put up 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. This week might be his week to put up 50 yards, and that's it. And to be a distraction and allow Trevor Coleman or somebody else to come in and run or do something special. And Matt Ryan has came to the concept that he doesn't need to throw these in tight situation balls. He doesn't need to force things down the field. He has 2 running backs, a good tight end, and some other wide receivers that all he has to do is get the ball to.
Yeah, he's going to get it done. I mean,
but if you watch him previously in the past couple of years, he thought he had to be Tom Brady.
Yes.
He thought he had to be Aaron Rodgers, and he's coming to realize that Matty Ice doesn't have to be that.
No, but I think what comes with that is that sense of comfortability, because in those years past, we were talking about Atlanta being a Super Bowl contender. I mean, there was a certain amount of weight that came along with that.
Right.
This year, they are good. I mean, they're really good. But if you started off the season with season predictions and the rest, nobody had them coming down the stretch being their Super Bowl contender or anything else. They were a little bit of the unknown. They were kind of like an anomaly in the beginning of the season. They've lived up to expectations and then exceeded them.
But I think a lot of people look at and I'm throw the Chiefs in there. You look at the Chiefs in the aspect and Alex Smith, and when they criticized him as being a kind of a role-playing quarterback, where your job wasn't to do anything besides get the ball to where you had to go. We really knocked him a lot of times for being that kind of quarterback. But if you look at that, and I think a lot of teams have stopped and stared at that, that's really all your quarterback really needs to do.
True.
Yeah, if your quarterback can fit it between 3 people and in your hands, well, you know what? High five to your quarterback. But you know what? 1 out of every of those throws are being picked. I'm sorry to tell you that. If you're Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, or anybody in the great quarterback catalog, but if you quarterback can just get the ball to your playmakers and slowly and kill time and get up the field and score a touchdown, then you're almost an elite team. And you know what? There's parts of the game where Atlanta is just doing that. Matt Ryan is just getting the ball up the field. He is killing clock, and he's making sure to score a touchdown at the end of that to put the other dagger in.
And yet and still, they still have the number 1 offense. So see, and that's what I mean by saying a sense of comfortability. They have an identity of who they are and how to be able to get it done, but I don't think they have the weight on them
Right. I know. I 100% agree. So I'm sorry for the Eagles, but I think this is going to be a very tough game. Not only are you playing a team with a high-power offense, but you're playing a team with a great defense. And they have a mojo in defense because they know when they come on, that they can just fly at you.
Yeah.
They know because they know Matt Ryan's going to come in and he's going to throw some good balls and they're going to run the ball and they're going to go score. So what's the worst that can happen? What, you're going to beat us? Don't worry about it. We'll come back in here and we're going to burn you again.
Well, see, and that's the most dangerous thing with Atlanta and the few teams that are like Atlanta in the league is that they almost equal out on both sides of the ball.
Right.
I mean, a lot of the teams you have now, their team is so lopsided. Either the offense is great and the defense is suspect. I mean, like I said, again, you're talking, the Cowboys, you're talking Pittsburgh.
Yep.
There are a lot of teams now that offensively are great. And then you have a lot of teams that are defensively great but can't score more than 15 points a game.
I agree, and I think that's the Eagles' thing right now. Their defense is good. I don't want to say great because they can't be great because, their offense isn't good enough to allow their defense to come at you full steam.
Yeah.
But their defense is good enough to keep it in the game.
Well, and the funny thing is, I said right now, over the last, 3 games, the Eagles put up 22 points a game. Mm-hmm. That's not going to get it done. Not without having an elite defense, which they don't have.
They can't be elite right now. You're spending way too much time on the field, and it's going to tucker you out every time you do so. I think in their division, their conference, all above, you have to be able to put up points. If you look at Atlanta, who's a team that's going to put up 40 on you, no question about it, you have to be able to put up at least 28 points or more every game to win a game in your area because your division, your conference is about offense.
Are they going to get 28 today?
I don't think so. I think the most they get is 21.
Are we looking at a blowout?
Yeah, I'm looking at like a 34-21 game. I don't know, 30, something in some mid 30s for Atlanta, about 21 points, maybe 14 points tops for Eagles.
Okay. Now, we're going to suppose this loss. I mean, we're just going to throw the supposition out here. That puts the Eagles squarely in the basement of the NFC East, which is super competitive right now.
Right.
I mean, at that clip, if they lose this game, what are your thoughts on them playoffs? Missing the playoffs?
I still think they're on the playoff push. I can't confidently say they're going to make playoffs, but I also can't confidently say they're going to miss playoffs.
Okay.
I just confidently can say that they're going to be on a playoff push. My biggest thing is that I feel like the Giants are self-destructive. They come with a rough schedule toward the end of the season. They don't have a running game, and Odell is great one game and bad the next game. And when he is bad, he is not just bad during the game. He's bad as a person throughout the rest of the time. So next thing you know, he's kicking things down. Inanimate objects are beating. So
he and the net are going to have problems. They're going to have to go to therapy.
Yeah, he might not even be the net. He might kick a kicking to you and it might hit him back. I don't really know. It could be anything. And Eli's actually having one of the worst seasons he's having
with all the weapons that he has available to him.
He's having one of the worst seasons, and I just don't see it. And so when Eagles have to go back and play the Giants, I see what it is. I also see that. I don't know. I just feel like the Redskins also are having some struggles with some injuries and some identity crisis, and allows the Eagles to come back and make a push for playoffs.
Okay. Who's the more suspect team? Is it the Redskins? Is it the Giants? Or is it the Eagles? What team do you think has more questions than answers?
I think the Giants do. Again, like I said, Eli's having one of the worst seasons he's ever had with the most weapons he's had, and they have a bad running game, and they have a mediocre defense. They find ways to win. I mean, you're not where you are without winning.
True.
But I don't think those
But it's
wins,
how you win sometimes.
I would say I don't think those wins are because they won. I more think those wins are wins because other teams made bad mistakes, allowing them back into the door to win. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't fight to make that win. It landed on a silver platter in front of them, and they ate it.
Okay.
That's what it was.
So how are you feeling about the Redskins?
I think Redskins are a little underrated in that aspect. They are going through some identity crisis. I don't know if they really know what they are. You have players like Pierre Garçon, and you have players like other wide receivers that are really good in that aspect that they can go to, but they don't. They don't really utilize them like they should. But then you have Jordan Reed, a tight end, who's been almost Gronk-ish. He has Gronk-like. And when I say that, he's been a freak.
He has Gronk tendencies.
He has a freak talent for a tight end that we don't see around the league. Tight ends are hard to find right now.
Absolutely.
And he is playing wide receiver-esque. He is playing determined-esque. He is doing a lot for them. Now, if for some reason he cannot be that person every game, then that just puts a big question mark on them.
Okay, so let's quickly segue into the Redskins and Minnesota today. So since speaking of the Redskins, how are you feeling about this game?
I'm going to go to Minnesota. I think it's a kind of a bounce-back game for them. I think Stephon Diggs comes back and plays pretty good. I think Kyle Rudolph has a good game. I think, as he would say, Waterboy. I feel like Waterboy will play a better game this game.
Now, is Deshaun Jackson playing today? I know he was questionable.
And I don't mean to be mean to Sean about this, but has he played all
Does it really matter?
Has he seen him?
No.
I haven't seen him.
No.
He's been kind of absent.
He's one of the names of the franchise.
He is, but, he's been absent. He's not around. So, I mean, if he is playing, that's great. I guess the question...
So what you're really saying is if he is playing, it's not going to make a difference one way or another.
The question you should have asked is he going to show up?
Wow.
And I don't know if he's going to show up. I don't think so.
All right, so you're picking...
Minnesota? Yes.
All
and
right.
I think I'm going to go Stephon Diggs being the
pivotal player of the game?
Pivotal player of the game.
All right, what's your points?
I think it's still going to be a close game. 27-21.
27-21.
Yep.
All right, where are they playing? Are they playing at RFK? Where are they playing?
I think they're playing RFK.
Okay. Now, I'm going to add in, I'm going to add in the home field advantage for them. I'm actually going to go a different way for this game. I actually think that the Redskins are going to do just enough to squeak this game out. I'm really looking at 24-26 maybe. Mm-hmm. I mean, there'll be some points scored in this game, but I just have a sense that, again, the Redskins in this NFC East, one, they have an urgency to be able to keep pace with what's going on in their division. And two, they win ugly a lot of times, and they're not a dominant team. They don't come out and you have the specter that they're really going to blow a team out or they're going to do anything, just off the map. But they find a way to get these little dink and dunk.
But I think both teams kind of play ugly. I hope that neither one of them expect anything great out of this. I hope everybody just expects like a slow-paced game, and then
that's
the
what it's going to be.
Comes and it is just crazy.
See, and I just have to give a little bit more props to the Minnesota defense. So I'm saying I think over the course of this, Minnesota, with their struggles offensively, the one thing that they have been able to rely on is that defense. I mean, they've done a lot, with them having to be on the field as much as they have because their offense is pretty inept. I mean, and you got to look at the beginning of the season. There was no way that they would have thought that they were going to lose both Bridgewater and AP at the beginning of the year. So their offense has been kind of makeshift from week 2, but that defense has been they've been pretty solid, and that's why I said I'm looking at the fact that if it's going to be a close game, coming into the fourth, and if it requires one stop or one play to change a game, I would rather rely on Minnesota's defense than I would on the Redskins' defense. I think even with as inept at times as Minnesota's offense is, I still think that they're going to be able to score. Now, they may not be touchdowns. I mean, but they're going to be able to go down. They're going to be able to kick a field goal. They're going to be in field goal range.
Right.
And if it's a tight game, that may be enough for them to be able to pull that out.
Yeah, I just really think it's going to be a very slow game for the most part of it, and then I just feel like at the very end it's going to be this offensive bombshell that comes out of both of them. But I just feel like Minnesota has a better defense and has better offensive weapons, and I think out of either of the team, I know they're grind out teams. I feel like Minnesota's going to grind out a lot better than the Redskins will.
Well, the one thing that we do know without question, we're in for another exciting week of NFL football. So I'm saying, great games once again.
Yes, get your nachos, get your beer, get your wings, get ready. It's game time.
Yeah, so for the MIA J. Irv, I'm Big Mike, your host for the Culdesac, sitting there with my boy G. Nice.
Yes, sir.
Yo, thank y'all for tuning in to the Culdesac. As my man would say, in and out.
You're listening to the hottest vibe radio, representing Dover, Delaware, Tri-State, Delmarva, and the Eastern Shore.